Welcome to the Halo Outreach Podcast, where we reach out to you, the Halo community, to keep you up to date on everything that's going on in the Halo universe. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 46 of the Halo Outreach Podcast. It is your boy Patman Gaming here. It's great to be back, and we have a bunch of news to talk about. But before we get into the topics, let me just give my fellow co-host here some love. Mr. KevinKoolx, how the heck are you doing?
I'm doing well, Pat. Just another week in the books, another hectic news week. Some big drops happen. So I'm looking forward to chatting in a bit with you, because I haven't really talked to you a whole much about all these news drops directly.
No, we save all that, so it's very genuine for the podcast. Exactly. We save all that,
Exactly,
that we just can't stand each other, and we can only interact once a week.
Nah, we just play Destiny instead. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a bunch of news to go over. The biggest thing being, if you guys haven't heard, Halo Infinite has been delayed until 2021. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see what goes on with that. We'll talk about that, and there is some new information coming out today from an interview with Phil Spencer. We're gonna go over as well. That's really interesting stuff. We're also gonna talk about Halo Infinite not being quote unquote open world. We'll talk a little bit more about that, as well as Halo Wars 2. Finally, for the people I've seen it almost as much as that guy that says fix Breakout. There's always people asking about Halo Wars 2. When does it get updated? We finally got an update for Halo Wars 2 today for all you Halo Wars fans out there, so we'll go over that. Admittedly, I don't play much RTSs, so we're going to just read the patch notes to you guys and then move on from that. And then finally we'll talk the patchy pits. And then we will talk about the playlist updates as well for respectively MCC and Halo 5 Guardians. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started with the big tuna,
the big boy
in the
news.
House. Yes, Halo Infinite delay. So Halo Infinite's been delayed till 2021, and Chris Lee put out a thing on Twitter, basically just saying, a statement from 343. We'll play it here for you guys on screen. I'll read it out. So, Halo Infinite. Today, I want to share an important Halo Infinite development update with the community. We have made the difficult decision to shift our release to 2021 to ensure the team has adequate time to deliver a Halo game experience that meets our vision. The decision to shift our release is the result of multiple factors that have contributed to the development challenges, including the ongoing COVID-related impacts affecting us all this year. I want to acknowledge the hard work from our team at 343 Industries, who have remained committed to making a great game and finding solutions to development challenges. However, it is not sustainable for the well-being of our team or the overall success of the game to ship it this holiday. We know this will be disappointing to many of you, and we all share in that sentiment. The passion and support from the community has shown over the years has been incredible and inspiring. We wanted nothing more than to play our game with the community this holiday. The extra time will let us finish the critical work necessary to deliver the most ambitious Halo game ever at the quality we know our fans expect. Thank you for your support and understanding. Chris Lee, studio head of Halo Infinite. So, Kevin, what do you want to say about this, man? This is obviously news. This might be the biggest news we got from Halo Infinite, honestly.
Yeah, seriously, yeah, because that's huge. We all kind of, I think after what we saw from the gameplay demo, where we're like, this thing needs some more time in the oven. And I think the majority of people would agree with that. The game looks fun. It just doesn't look visually as good as it should, or as you would expect as a next gen, high quality console seller of a game, Right. The visuals, I say, are probably honestly a little bit better than Halo 5. The texturing's a little bit better than Halo 5, but it doesn't really wow you, looking at the graphics, compared to what we've seen from other games, The Last of Us 2 wowed a lot of people, and Cyberpunk's wowed a lot of people as well with their visuals. And so, and I think also it just kind of comes with like expectations that like when a new console comes out, you're expecting like this huge leap in graphical fidelity. I mean, they've kind of also like marketed that the console to do
Most
that.
powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most powerful, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, honestly, like, I remember like the Switch going from like the 360 to the Xbox One, and the graphical jumps not being that huge at the time, like
Yeah.
from one year to the next. Generally, like release games don't generally utilize the graphical power that they can capture with a new console. Usually, towards the later second half of a console's generation is when you're really actually seeing some like, games that look like surprisingly amazing, like The Last of Us 2, God of War 4. You know, those are the two that come to my mind instantly when it comes to visually impressive games. But overall, like I'm actually really glad about like the community response from this. I haven't really seen anybody like talking down about them or like, yeah, like obviously I've seen a couple comments on the videos that we made. They're like, 5 years, $500 million. How do you not do this? Right. All this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, you're also trying to make like developing a game under the perfect conditions is already really difficult and time consuming and like takes over people's lives when it comes to making, especially like the last like year or 6 months, especially it's the crunch. And then you have to do that on top of really unideal situations of, dealing with a pandemic and having to work from home. It just slows things down working from home. It really does. Like I started a new job in July working from home, and it's been pretty slow ramping me up to speed with all the other employees just because like I'm not there in the office, so they don't really like there's no one like look over my shoulder and be like, hey, what you should be doing, Kevin, or like me to go over there like, hey, can I look over your shoulder and like shadow you for like an hour, just watch you work, kind of stuff, which is super useful and helpful when it comes to getting a new job. But yeah, I'm a little digressing right there a little bit, but my personal opinion, it sucks. I was really looking forward to it, but I understand it, especially after what we saw in the demo. I think it's a good thing that they're delaying this game till 2021. When, we don't know. I'm still assuming like a March or April release date. I think an extra 6 months is probably what the game needs. Because so like even then, guys, like I don't think we're gonna see this game like look phenomenally better than what it is right now. We're not gonna see drastic changes in the lighting system or character models and things like that. Like everything we saw, like that's Halo Infinite, And so I think that what we're probably gonna see is like probably like a little bit of better lighting. Probably like less pop-in textures, especially with those clouds or like that middle pillar that when you saw the Warhog jump in the air, there was like that background. You can see like that geometry pop in and stuff like that. You probably see that guy get ironed out, and probably also I've heard someone message me like saying that like a GTX 1080 Ti runs at like 30 frames for Halo Infinite right now, and I was like, that's concerning because like a 1080 Ti I think is like kind of like the gold standard for like graphics cards right now for like gaming PCs. And so that's just rumors, and if that nothing to confirm with that. That's just what someone told me.
Yeah, I don't believe that one bit. But
yeah. So I don't believe it either. But like even if it was true, like that'd be you definitely need some more time in the oven. Plus, I'm assuming then also this would give us time to them to implement RTX as well, because I was kind of surprised they didn't have it running for for showing off Halo Infinite. Like RTX ray tracing is a huge console seller point, technological console selling point. If to not have your flagship game have it at launch, it's like, well, where is it at?
Right.
So after I think a lot of people after seeing the gameplay, we understand that it's okay to delay it. If we didn't see any gameplay and then they said it was going to be delayed, we'd be like, what the hell's going on? I don't know anything. So it's nice to see the community respond well to it, But I think they responded well because of what we saw. They're like, yeah, we agree. Which is kind of not very often you see such cordial agreements happening on the internet.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it, Pat?
Well, multiple things, honestly. First thing, you see a lot of people on there, especially like the people who get into the PlayStation versus Xbox wars, that I find extremely exhausting and stupid.
Because PC's where it's at.
I mean, besides the point, it's just I don't get how people just they do that constantly, and they're like, oh, look at Xbox, look at their go-to game, and it looks like crap, and now your system's gonna launch with no games, blah blah blah. I mean, both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are kind of underwhelming for this gen as far as games go. I do agree with your point as far as usually you don't see that big of a graphical leap at the beginning. I just thought it would be different because this is first party. First party knows how to take advantage of hardware. They've had the hardware, the development kits longer than anybody. The exclusive things that are coming with this console, like ray tracing, that is all to be taken advantage from the first party development. And that's why I had a little bit more hope for the fidelity of this game, because usually you don't see a lot of big first party games right at the launch of a new system. Like Gears came a little bit after the 360 came out. Halo 1 is the exception, but and like you said, later on in the cycle we'll see them really push the envelope. But still, for a game to look worse than Halo 5, arguably worse than Halo 5 did, it was definitely concerning from a graphical standpoint. But for us, I think I can speak for both of us. Graphics aren't everything. Yeah, we like graphics. Yeah, we want our Halo to look nice and shiny and pretty, but gameplay trumps all when it comes to Halo. There's people out there, Golden Ninja Jimbo, who play Minecraft, and it's the fucking worst graphics you could ever see in a next generation game or this gen, and
they were
people
bad
love that game.
They were bad 10 years ago.
They were bad on the N64, so that people play games for certain reasons. Halo's big trump card is its gameplay. So the gameplay looked tremendous, and I wasn't really worried about it. But at the same time, we had a lot of those rumors going around about 343 and crunch time, and not a good place to work right now. And maybe there was some validity to that, because even Chris Lee said, for the betterment of our team, we don't want to push them too hard. So maybe there was, obviously we knew there was crunch going on with Infinite. There's always crunch going on with a game.
Every game.
Yeah, it seems like it might have been an unhealthy amount of crunch. I wanted to see exactly what he said here. He said, however, it is not sustainable for the well-being of our team or the overall success of the game to ship it this holiday. So it seems like they're like, dude, we got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time, and the product is going to suffer, from that. I am personally glad it's delayed, along with, like you said, most of the community. We understand it really sucks that it's delayed because we've waited so long. I really hope we don't get another really dry spell, because there's rumors already going around. People are saying holiday next season. I don't think it's going to take that long.
No, nobody knows beyond 343 on that.
Yeah, nobody knows. But if it is holiday, I really hope we get steady news still. Don't leave us in the dark. I'm even still, now that opens up the flighting plans once again, which is huge. And I called it back shortly after, like a couple days after the reveal event, and they said that there might not be a flame. I'm like, dude, if you got to push the game back, push it back if it means getting us a flight, because it should not launch without that. We need to be able to test the game, help 343 out, get it out in the hands of the open, make sure that it's as smooth a launch as possible. And then now on top of that, with the delay, that really allows us to get more features packed into the game. So RTX should be there at launch now. There should be no reason that doesn't come out at launch. Whatever other features they may have been working on that were coming post-launch should come out. Make the game as content-rich as possible right off the bat. Put custom browsers in there like we talked about before. Put theater mode that's working in there, forge mode, custom games, multiplayer, campaign, ray tracing, different options. All that all under one roof, under one package would be absolutely awesome to see for Halo. And that the possibility of that just skyrocketed because of the delay. So that's what I'm most hopeful for, is a complete package Halo on launch. And take your time to do it right. Like, just don't leave us in the dark. I also threw around the possibility of, hey, what if we get an early access multiplayer suite to test out a quote unquote flight, or just slap the early access tag on it, let us play it, update it over time for like a few months. You want to have like a really long flight if you'd like. I'm totally cool with that. If you want to do that, 343, you want to delay your game, take your time. You give us something to play. Even release the demo. Give us something to play and be excited about. Keep that hype machine rolling, because the hype machine was really rolling. We expected to get a bunch of information on this game in the next couple months, and now that's in jeopardy. And we really still don't know anything about multiplayer.
Yeah, I was expecting like a multiplayer reveal in August.
Yeah. We both were like, we were both assumed, then they canceled the Xbox 2020 event. We're like, okay, well, what's going on? And other news too, on top of that, the Series X is still coming out this year, November. Xbox came out and said that shortly after 343 released their statement. So those who were wondering if Xbox would push back the release of the Series X, no, not happening. So that is it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I look at it as a blessing in disguise, because 343 absolutely needs to nail the launch of this game. It cannot suffer.
I'm also really glad that Microsoft also saw that as well.
Yeah, because that they gave that the go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I think that just kind of comes with Phil Spencer, taking lead of Xbox ever since. I think ever since he's been the head of Xbox, like it's only been like good decisions. I feel, for the most part, obviously, like it's not been like 100% amazing, but like way better than what it was with the Xbox One release. You know,
extremely consumer friendly.
Oh my gosh, like you like video games, right? How about football?
Oh, yeah. Don Matrick was a buffoon. Phil Spencer literally single-handedly saved the Xbox brand, because it was going bad, really bad.
Oh god,
for Xbox. And I mean, they didn't have any games, and we really still don't have many exclusive games to the Xbox that really like that wow people, like The Last of Us, like God of War, like Spider-Man. It really just has Halo. And Halo hasn't really wowed people in a long time. I mean, we still love Halo, but the general consensus from a lot of the old school fans is Halo 5 was a failure in a lot of people's eyes, or that Halo's been copying other games and not really doing its own thing and really blazing the path. So it's been a while. And when Halo fails, Xbox fails. And I give Phil Spencer a lot of credit. You wouldn't have Xbox if it wasn't for Halo. And then with MCC and Halo 5, that didn't help the Xbox brand at all this gen. This gen Xbox really struggled. So launching it with a strong Halo game to really showcase, your new system, that is really important. And I'm, like you said, really glad Phil Spencer decided to do that. Let's talk about that article that we saw came out today too.
Yeah.
That about there was rumors back about a month ago that Halo Infinite could possibly launch with just the multiplayer, without multiplayer, that would come later. And people were like, no way that could happen. No way they're going to entertain that. And then 343 even came out and said, yo, this ain't true. That ain't true.
That ain't true.
We ain't doing that. But we do have confirmation now that was actually being tossed around. Maybe not the multiplayer thing. We might have got multiplayer first and no campaign, or maybe no Forge again, and had that in a later, they talked about segmenting the release of Halo Infinite with Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer confirmed this himself. He said
that article was just written like today, like the day we were recording. It said like August 13th.
Like, exactly.
It's just
so he was on he was like on a stream or something, and they were asking him questions. He said, I know it's a bummer that Halo Infinite got delayed. I know it's disappointing to people. It's disappointing to us. We're looking forward to the alignment of Halo and the Series X as a seminal moment for Xbox, looking back to the launch of the original Xbox and Halo CE. He said he wanted to be transparent about the decision as early as possible. And, it wasn't his favorite thing to do, basically, he said. He also said that that him and Bonnie Ross, the head of 343 Studios, or 343 Industries, had a talk, as well as Matt Booty, the best name in gaming, about potentially shipping the game in separate pieces. They didn't really elaborate much as to what those separate pieces were, but like I said, you put those pieces together from other rumors earlier, and it sounds like it could have been without multiplayer. And he said, it, quote, that it just didn't feel to all of us like the Halo release that we would want, end quote. So I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have been a huge mistake, dude. Like, if
Imagine like 6 months later, you got multiplayer. Like what?
Yeah, would have been the biggest mistake they could have made for Infinite. It would have killed. I mean, and that rumor's been going around for a long time, dude. The free-to-play rumor for Halo Infinite's multiplayer was going around years ago, and that it could launch separately. That was going around with it years ago, and I didn't believe either at the time. I was like, no way. But it was a good discussion point, and now we have confirmation that that was true. Microsoft considered it, and props to them once again for shutting that down and be like, yeah, it's probably not the best idea. We need to have a full package at launch.
Yeah, I'm guessing
which is something we've both been talking about for a while now.
I'm guessing it's probably like some just like, you know, like, well, we gotta get something, you know, and so then like they probably, had some discussions probably from Microsoft down to like 343, and 343 was going like, so could we like release like a portion of Infinite and then release another portion later? That's probably how that leak got out, because when Brad Sams made that leak saying that Infinite's like I releases multiplayer, then Sketch shot that down. Brad Sams was like, well, this is what I heard from my insider, and he's pretty credible. And then later on, and just like what, a couple weeks later, we find out like, oh yeah, they actually were talking about possibly releasing the game in parts. So actually, Brad Sams' reporting was accurate.
Right?
Like maybe I'm saying maybe at the time Sketch denied it, Sketch was right. But when
it's still true. I mean, it's still true. They're not doing.
They're both right.
Right.
They're both right.
They're both right. Yeah. Brad Sams heard rumblings that, hey, from his source that, hey, they're considering doing this. So he reported it. That's what insiders do. They report on what they hear from their trusted sources, not everything they hear.
Yeah.
And then Sketch was like, no, actually, we're not doing that, which is true. They're not doing that. They're delaying the game now. So it was definitely, they talked about that. They considered that. That is from Phil Spencer himself. Now I 100% believe it because Phil freaking Spencer said it.
Right.
So the people, there's a lot of people on Twitter saying you got to be an idiot to think that Halo would even think about doing that. Well, they did. They did think about doing that.
They did.
Yeah. And it got, it was more than just, hey, Phil, you think we should ship the game in separate pieces? No, it was more than just a phone call. I think they honestly, seriously considered this because Xbox needed something to go with the Series X. And Halo Infinite and Series X, like Phil Spencer said in this article, have been synonymous with each other the whole time since the game was announced. That this is the game you want to play on your new system from Xbox. And they were looking to get something out there. So, yeah. I thought that was quite interesting.
And I can understand that too. I mean, out of all the games that are going to be coming to the Xbox, Halo is the most anticipated one.
Yeah, it's its flagship franchise still to this
day. Have your console seller not be there on day one hurts the console. But
absolutely.
Again, like I said, like we said earlier, like I applaud Microsoft and 343 recognizing that you just can't release this game unfinished. We've dealt with poor last two games have been poor launches. We've on the Xbox One, we only had, well, I guess you count Halo Wars 2. We've had 3 Halo launches, and 2 of those were not good launches.
Right.
And so, like again, like I think I mentioned this previously as well, that like Halo is kind of coming from like an underdog position. So they need to kind of overwhelm people with so many awesome options that they have. They're like, I'd be dumb not to play this,
Right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's just, I know that Brad Sams was not quite happy about being called out by 343 right there. He's like, this is what
sure
and then later on, it turns out, he was right the whole time. Yeah, he was right about that. But it wasn't going to happen, but they were in talks about it. But he kind of stated it as that's what's going to happen. Where Sketch is like, that's not happening. So I think maybe if you rephrased it differently, it might have, not mess him up so much.
But
it messes with like his credibility, especially.
It does. It definitely messes with his credibility. But at the same time, maybe he heard that it was happening, and that like we said, we don't know how far these talks got.
Yeah.
And then when Sketch said, "No, that ain't happening," they could have literally just been like, "You know what? No, maybe the delay was decided right then and there. Like, you know what? When they saw people, how they reacted to that news of Halo Infinite launching without multiplayer in the community, they could have been like, all right, no, we can't do that. I think it's time to delay the game and ship it as a full package.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, it goes both ways. Like the guy's just, he definitely lost credibility. I I lost, like I'm like, dude, I'm never believing anything Brad Sam says again. never again. Never gonna even talk about it. I'm not even gonna give my opinion on it, because I was literally making the video when Sketch came out and said, no truth to that. And I was like, all right. It's like, delete video. Don't gotta render this. Don't gotta find my tags and stuff, whatever. But it's a good discussion point, because I thought that would have been a huge mistake. So I am really glad that it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
But let's keep that Infinite train rolling, Kevin. You want to talk about Halo Infinite not being open world?
Correct. Yeah, that's when I first watched the demo, and I think when you first watched the gameplay demos as well, we saw that map open up, we're like, holy crap, this is open world Halo, like straight up just load up, go whatever, do whatever you want to do, kind of like open world. And it seems like it's not quite that experience. I mean, was it Jeremy Hook, or was it one of the Hooks?
It was Paul Crocker, the associate creative director. Yeah, he explained it in that article.
And Chris Lee and Hook also mentioned they're very specific in saying open and expansive world. They've never said open world together. Right. And I think, and it's this Destructoid article that we're citing over here. They straight up asked, like, open world, like, is this what we're seeing here, like an open world Halo? And they were very specific about saying, he basically clarified him rather than saying just yes. So that's right. Yeah, Jerry Hook's the guy I was looking for, name wise. I can't find exactly what the question was that they phrased.
They said in the Destructoid article, he said he asked whether Halo Infinite takes place in a single contiguous open world, and Crocker said the simple answer is that it takes place in a huge world that is open and expansive. We have a storyline that pulls you through it, which is effectively unlocking certain areas, but as you progress through it, you have the ability to backtrack and explore to your heart's content. There's a lot to find out in the world. So,
exactly. Which I think
open world, but not pure open world,
Well, it sounds like it's open world once you unlock everything.
Right.
Yeah.
You can go back and look at, and there was another, I think with the Infinite Questions Q&A thing that Unisec did, there was a mention of open world as well. And they asked, like, if you can see it, can you go there? And Uni said, like, basically yes, like if you see it in Halo Infinite, you can go there, but there are a few minor exceptions. So, maybe water, who knows if we'll be able to travel in water, but there's not going to be like kill barriers everywhere preventing you, like, turn back, you're going to die, For the most part, they said whatever you see is where you'll be able to explore. But
we've heard that before, though.
Yeah. And they, it really sounds like, I've always wanted this. When I heard Halo Infinite could be open world, I kind of compared it to Metro Exodus, where you have these open world segments in Metro Exodus, but you still have a narrative and you still have linearity inside those open world segments. You can really go where you want, but when you access a mission, it's kind of linear in that way. And that's how I felt Halo Infinite should take it, because I did, for a spinoff, it'd be really cool to do just pure open world RPG Halo. But for a mainline game, people still want that storytelling for Halo. You still want, and it's really hard to tell a really cohesive, good story in a fully open world game. Breath of the Wild barely tells a story. The main draw of that game is the environment, is the open world. Games like The Witcher, Red Dead does a decent job of telling a good story, but that's kind of the exception, not the standard. So, I like that they're taking this approach. Basically, you're going to have your linear stuff. You're going to be able to unlock this world. But guess what? You go back and you can find secrets. You can explore it to your heart's content. There's going to be stuff for you to reward you for exploring, they said. So in that sense, it is open world-esque, I guess is the best way to put Halo Infinite.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be kind of like maybe like a series of like the second mission from Halo CE, right? Like that part where you have the 3 different locations, you have the different like life pods you got to go save the Marines at. Then they come in to save the Marines, you go to the next section and do that, but you can kind of do it in whatever order you want to do it in. I think we're going to get a lot of that kind of level design, but then also being able to just go like, actually, I might go back to that place I was just at like 30 minutes ago. I'm just going to drive over and maybe I'll find something cool or something, or just
Right.
watch a
I
YouTube
think I
video
just
about where to
saw,
find all these locations.
and if you are watching a YouTube video, you should be watching either KevinKoolx or the Patman Gaming's channel, because we will be covering the crap out of that game.
Oh my
But yeah,
god.
just imagine driving around in the Warthog, like, oh, there's a cave over there.
Hmm.
I wonder if Noble Six is in there. You could, just drive by and be like, I'm gonna put a marker on my map. I'll come back to that later when I'm done with this mission. Like, I think that's really cool. Definitely. I
Hmm.
mean, you probably still have the option to stop there too. Like, you don't have to do the mission right away. You could probably start it just like we saw in the Infinite gameplay reveal. Our mission in that gameplay reveal was to stop the 3 anti-aircraft cannons. Uh, but on their way there, they're stopping, they're engaging with enemies and stuff, and it seems there's a real freedom to how you attack that mission. You could see other areas of where you could come in from other angles too for engagements and stuff. So it's freedom of choice for the player, and that's what makes it really exciting, because it's
Hmm.
different.
Yeah, so yeah, we've never had anything truly like that in Halo when it
Right.
comes to like that much freedom when it comes to
Right.
choice. I mean, it seems like also like the exploring the open and expansive world kind of comes with also like upgrading character. Like we had that upgrades tab in the
Mhm.
trailer, right? It seems
Yep.
that after reading that, it seems like it's kind of tied to equipment in a way. So what
Hmm.
I'm thinking, my guess is that like we'll have like equipment that you can choose for like a loadout in a way. So like you can spawn with like your rechargeable ability being like the grapple hook, or your rechargeable ability can be the drop wall, or whatever other equipment you can find around there. And then you can like upgrade those equipments with finding things within the world, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So I was,
Yeah, it showed that too. Like when you're on the select menu for selecting the mission, it showed like some sort of currency or something you
yeah.
get for
Mm.
completing the mission. So which that could be used for upgrades, like you said. And maybe like the grapple hook you earn, like, all right, well, at first you can just use it to grapple to objects. Well, when you upgrade it, you could use it because Green Skull confirmed that you could pull weapons towards you. So maybe if you upgrade it, you can now pull weapons towards you, or you can now use it to grab fusion coils, or you can now, there's a lot of upgrade scenarios in my head that you could play out with each piece of equipment. Like that shield wall. Okay, well, maybe when you first have it, you can't shoot through it, but then you upgrade it where it's maybe weaker from deflecting stuff, but you could shoot through it now. Or there's just a bunch of different options that you could play around with. So that's really exciting too,
Mm.
because we've never really had that in Halo either. Very, very super. I even want to call them RPG elements, but very light. RPG elements. That's upgrading equipment. That's part of an RPG, and it's really cool. Honestly, I love that.
Yeah, I'm definitely exact. That's one thing I think we've kind of all been in general consensus is that the campaign, what it sounds like and what it looks fun. It's just the visuals of
Right.
it don't really help immerse you in that situation
Right.
of playing the game. And so that's what the world run into.
I still stand by the statement. I want to see what the hell that game looks like right now on a base Xbox One. I would pay money to get that footage and see what the hell that game looks like on an Xbox One, man.
How long do you think they're going to support the Xbox One with like a 10-year plan with Infinite? There's no way they'd support the Xbox One for 10 years.
No, eventually they'll have to. I mean, according to Microsoft, they want to support it's all one ecosystem going forward. But
Yeah.
eventually you got to make that decision where you're just like, all right, well, this feature's not coming to you guys. I'm sorry. Like, you can play the game, but maybe this DLC, or it's just too expansive, or these features, they're just not possible in that hardware without really limiting the design influence from 343, like really limiting what they can pull off. So um there it's a fine line. A lot of people are arguing like, dude, cancel the Xbox One version. Make it Series X only. I don't agree with that, because I
Yeah.
still think there's plenty of, you have more player base obviously on Xbox One right now than you'll have on your Series X. So that would be huge to the huge detriment to the sales of the game, but at the same time, and player base, but at the same time, like it's a lot easier. Think of a PC. I don't get why people don't get this. Think of a PC where lower end PCs still run games that we play. You just gotta fine tune graphics settings. It's gonna be up to developers to do that. But like I said, at the same time, it's a fine line. eventually you're basically, restricting 343 from doing what they possibly could do with the game, because you have to make it for older hardware too. Like that Destiny 1 had that problem. Vault space being a prime example, and who knows what else they had to do to really tune it.
I don't think they ever really came straightforward in what the 360 and the PS4 were holding it back, or PS3 at the time, right? Were holding it back. But I mean, yeah, they just straight up like had to stop supporting those consoles. Like, I think they got, did they get Rise of Iron DLC? I know they got the Taken King. And then
I think so. I don't remember hearing anything. I
don't even think they got the Rise of Iron content. They got the update to the game, but they didn't get the content of Rise of Iron.
DLC itself.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because like they're like, yeah, plus like the load times on the 360 and PS3 were just like absurd. Yeah. Apparently, I never played it on those consoles, but apparently it was just like awful load times, which totally understandable. Trying to support those consoles. I mean, I could definitely see the Xbox One affecting like play space size potentially, because you definitely don't want to have people who are playing on those Xbox Ones to feel like they're playing a massively inferior product, Right. The only time I ever really saw that happen was with Battlefield 3, playing that Battlefield 3 on the 360 compared to what it was on PC. It's not even close to even being like the same game. Like the PC version is just so much better with like higher player counts, way better graphics, way better handling. And just like it was almost dumb to play it on the 360 after playing it on PC. Yeah. And I'm wondering like if like the play space sizes, so they like tailored the map for draw distance so then it wouldn't look obviously terrible on the Xbox ones, where like on the Xbox Series X and S, by the way, you might have much more a little bit wider open areas potentially. It did seem like even like when you're going up that elevator, right? It did seem like the horizon, like where like that Palace of Pain like building is in the background, even though it was far away, but it wasn't like super far away. It still felt kind of close. Like, and like I could probably run there in like, I don't know, 10 minutes, something like that. And even with all the obstacles in the way and stuff. So I couldn't imagine supporting the Xbox One beyond like 2 years after release of Halo Infinite. Right. I think after that, it's kind of like, all right, guys, it's time to get real here. You're playing on a console by that point is 10 years old. Right. Either upgrade or go to PC, or I don't know what you guys are going to do. Maybe just keep playing the campaign over, Right. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure exactly how long Destiny supported the 360 and PS3. I think if it was Rise of Iron, it would have been 2 years then. Yeah. So I think that's about right. You gotta give people some time to kind of ramp up. I mean, because like
or even just multiplayer. I mean, multiplayer is not nearly as demanding as what the campaign will be.
True. Yeah.
Unless there's certain modes like Warzone, whatever Warzone 2.0 is, or if we do get a battle royale, that could be more demanding. But your base multiplayer suite of Arena should be, and that's gonna be free to play, so a standalone thing. So hey, if you gotta leave them back behind in the dust, and campaign upgrades only come to Series X, and you could still play multiplayer, and that still keeps your player base alive for the game, that's a win-win. Then that's always an option too, especially with it, like I said, being a free to play. So you're not really saying like, oh, screw you paid money for the game, well, guess what, we ain't supporting it no more, so bye, sorry, thanks for the money. That's always an option too. So that I never even thought about that until now. That could be
well, there's also that free upgrade path as well. Right. You get on the Xbox One, you can get on the Series X for free, which is really nice. Yep. That probably could be why like they probably saw some delays happening with some of the games they wanted to be a launch title. Like, well, we can't make them pay for the same game 6 months later. That'd just be awful. So EA would be like, make them pay for 6 months later.
What Control is doing that. Control, you could, if you have to buy the deluxe edition to get the upgrade for the Series X,
I heard that.
PS5. Yeah. If you have the base game, nope, sorry, you're SOL.
But yeah, people are gonna do what they do. I didn't even know about the game, so it's whatever.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm just so focused on the Halo.
So exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, finished Fallen Order already.
I'm on like the last mission too. I know I'm like on the last section of the game. I just need to play it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Do you want to get into the? I'll read the patch notes real quick for this Halo Wars 2 update.
Yes, read the patch notes.
The Patchy Pat here coming at you with the patch notes for Halo Wars 2 Balance patch and season update. So this was posted 2 hours ago, and season 15 is live on Halo Wars 2. There's a bunch of bug fixes, global changes like the mine's building damage has been reduced by 50%. You in order to increase the usability of turret drops and bunkers, they've reduced that damage of the mines towards buildings. UNSC units, all units, vultures, the Phoenix missile damage reduction versus anti-air units through creating a new weapon type for it versus ground units, a power cost increase from 75 to 25, Marines, Scorpions, a bunch of stuff. UNSC leaders Jerome, Forge, Serena, and Isabel, as well as Captain Cutter, Cassano, Johnson, Hell Charge upgrades, Anders. They all got a bunch of things tuned to them. So nerfs, buffs, things like that. Like I said, we don't really play Halo Wars 2, so I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to go too much into it because then we're just going to sound like we don't know what we're talking about. I'm just not comfortable doing that, and I'm sure Kevin isn't either. We ain't going to BS you guys. We will, however, have the link to the patch notes for those who do play it and have a lot of people looking forward to this. We'll have the patch notes linked in the description for you guys on YouTube so that you guys can take a look at it. Banished, also the Banished leaders and stuff got patch as well as far as balancing update. So a bunch of stuff. It's honestly a pretty sizable list of stuff that they changed. So hopefully that leads to a better experience for you playing Halo Wars 2. I'll go back to it eventually.
I need to play it because the Banished are in it. I just need to play it just because of that. And I've been meaning to play it. I know it's a good story. I know Atriox is cool.
Yep.
I just need to get around to doing it. I'll probably do it like before the release of Halo Infinite.
Yeah, before it. Now we got even more time to freaking complete it.
So I've been like kind of like had this like stream idea of like just playing through all the Halo games in chronological order.
Whoa, that was my idea. You can't do that. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No one else on Twitch could ever play through the Halo games in chronological order.
No, you can't do that.
Pat thought of it first.
I did. So you can't. I copyright claimed it. It's been patented. So.
Oh my god! I guess we're just
gonna have to co-op it.
I'm gonna cringe so hard to a black hole.
Oh god! If you haven't already, then I think you'll be fine, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean they said the Infinite's gonna be a good starting point too. So, but it'd be nice to have the backstory.
Well, yeah, for us big fans, there's still be stuff in there in Infinite that people are like, oh, I remember that from Halo Wars. Exactly. So yeah, it'd be good to go back and I'm down to go back and play all of them again. So yeah, I really don't remember much of Halo Wars 1. Honestly, it's been so long.
Never played that one either.
Wow. We'll even have to throw in Spartan Strike and Spartan Assault in there.
Are they in the game lore chronologically in some way?
I mean, yeah, they're official.
Did they take place like after Halo Reach or something?
Yeah, because I remember Sarah Palmer's on the cover of one, so it's probably between 4 and 5. Yeah, I'm already not liking the game. All right, so moving on, we have the what's it called? The
thing with the stuff, the playlist update. Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, the playlist update. We gotta talk about the playlist update. So with the double XP going on right now for 2 playlists in Halo 5 Guardians. For those, now it kind of sucks because everybody's gonna reach SR1. Dude, you got time to reach 152. you better get back on it. We have the playlist for Halo 5 is Warzone Assault, and can't remember what the other one is. I got it right here.
Action Sack.
Yeah, Action Sack. So Warzone Assault and Action Sack going live on August 13th. The Action Sack rotated in for Griffball. And speaking of Griffball, that is actually rotated in for Shoddy Snipes on MCC in the featured playlist. So if you guys love your Griffball, your swords, your hammers, go on ahead into MCC. And
I've heard it's good for
try
XP
to play.
gains, actually.
Yeah, I just
Playing
don't like
Great
it.
Ball.
So
Mm.
yeah, I like to have fun when I play my video games. It's like
Do
trying
you
to play
though, Pat? You're the guy who's like, oh, I played Lasso the other day.
I mean, it's still fun to an extent because I got to get those achievements. You know, it's for the clout. You got to flex on people. Like, yo, I got all the MCC achievements.
That's like
I am a
that's
Halo god.
That's Dark Scorch level thirsting for clout. Okay.
Well, that is not Dark Scorch level thirsting. 'Cause I'm actually playing the game, actually earning stuff, not asking people to buy my merch. Okay, that's two totally separate things. I have to earn that.
Things. Totally
okay, I have
separate.
to earn that. Okay, different. So yeah, those are your playlist updates for everybody who was wondering, and that brings us to the end of the show. So,
Ta-da.
yes, Kevin, where can people find you if they're trying to look for you on the interwebs for your content?
Well, you can always find me, like you see on the screen here, at KevinKoolx Haley. You can find me on YouTube, KevinKoolx, Instagram, KevinKoolx, Twitch, KevinKoolx, Facebook, KevinKoolx, in case you're a boomer and use Facebook for all your news and information, which is weird to say now, but it's kind of true.
It is kind of for true.
Yeah, everyone uses TikTok now for the news. Come on, let's be real. Yeah.
I would literally unfriend you if you started making TikTok videos, just so you know.
I'm so glad it's getting shut down. I'm tired of just seeing like all those viral videos, everyone just copying each other. Like, look what it looks like when I do it, though.
Stupid.
Have you seen that meme where it's like shows like the guy who's like peace, like leaning over like the grave? He's like, "What up, peace?" Like, got him, kind of. I don't know if you've seen that meme. It has like a tombstone over it, and it shows like TikTok.
You sent it to us, yeah.
And it says like anyone who's not 13 to 24, and it shows like a guy like, "Peace, TikTok, you're dead."
Yeah, yeah. Thank God.
Which sounds like Microsoft might be buying TikTok. It's the rumor that's going on with that.
Yeah, but hopefully they don't. Hopefully they choose
they'll make it into
the
next Zune mixer, so it's fine.
Yeah, there you go. You know, let's get it shut down a couple of years later, like Mixer. It'll be great.
How about you, Pat? Where can people find your stuff on the internet?
Well, Kevin, they can find me at the Patman Gaming, like you guys see underneath me here on Twitter. Yeah, the Patman Gaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/the Patman Gaming. The Patman Gaming. On Instagram, instagram.com/ hit it with a come on, Kevin. That was for you.
The Patman Gaming.
Thank you
for
very much.
For Kiddie Pool DJ Khaled level deep thoughts.
Oh, deep thoughts. Knowledge. For all the knowledge in the world. And then on YouTube, just type into your YouTube search bar. Do not misspell Patman. It's with a P. It's not Pac-Man like blah, 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 blah. It is Patman like Batman, but with a P. Gaming. And you'll find me there for all your latest Halo news and occasional other Halo goodness. So, yeah, that's it. That's the podcast, people. Goodbye.
I don't know what to do with my hands.